Hey guys, this is 49ers United. I'm just doing a quick video on my thoughts on the Super Bowl run. The 49ers have done great this season. They've taken on every team you can imagine that was a worthy opponent. They took on the Saints, they took on the Seahawks, they took on the Packers, and they beat all of them at least once, including the Seahawks. But now it's playoff time. They've taken care of business against the Vikings, but now they're going to be playing the Packers in the NFC Championship, which I can't wait for. It's going to be next Sunday. I think at 6:40, so it should be a great game. And man, these playoffs they've been quite the shocker to say the least. The Ravens were eliminated. The Patriots were eliminated. Both were worthy candidates for a Super Bowl run, and both choked within their first game in the playoffs. The Titans are shocking everyone. They might beat the Chiefs. The Texans choked a 24-point lead. This has honestly been interesting playoffs. If the Niners weren't in it like they've been in the last few years, I'd be rooting for the underdog that the Titans have been. But obviously, you'd be cheering on the Niners all the way to the Super Bowl, which I think they'll be able to get there. And that's what this video is about. Who I hope they play. Originally, I wanted them to take on the Patriots or the Ravens. More particularly the Patriots, just because I'm tired of seeing them in the Super Bowl, as is everyone else. They're a team I don't like. No one likes in the country. They're always rooted for against. It would have been interesting because it would have been tying the Bills' record for the most consecutive appearances in a Super Bowl, which I would hope the 49ers would be able to beat Tom Brady. Another reason why is Tom Brady used to be a fan of the 49ers. It would be almost bittersweet to watch his old team beat him, I'm sure. There's actually a feature from I think it's the NFL Network. His dad and him talking about it. They were season tickets for the team for years and years, and we're at the game, the NFC Championship, the catch against the Cowboys, which is pretty significant for a kid who wanted to play for the 49ers. And again, speaking of a kid who wanted to play for the 49ers, I'll talk more about the Packers, which, in another video, which Aaron Rodgers wanted to also play for the greatest dynasty in the NFL. So I actually started making a video the other day of my hopeful Super Bowl games, what I would want to see. And once the Patriots were eliminated, I was working on a video with the Niners actually taking on the Ravens, but that's obviously not possible now since they choked in the first round of the playoffs. So between the Titans and the Chiefs, again, I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. I feel like there's a lot more symbolicness to the game itself, and what can come as a result of it. For starters, I think one of the most obvious thinkings behind this game is Joe Montana played for both. He was both a 49er and a Kansas City Chief, so I'm sure he would try to avoid any question as he could. But we all know in the end he's a San Francisco 49er. He might have played Steve Young with the Chiefs against the Niners, but again, everyone knows what his rightful team is, which is the 49ers. George Kittle and Travis Kelce are both arguably two of the best tight ends in the NFL. George Kittle and Travis Kelce both broke the record last season. Travis Kelce breaking it first, with Kittle following a few hours later. Just two great tight ends, both big personalities for their team. Obviously, I'm going to be biased and say I like George Kittle more, but I just think the atmosphere he kind of brings with him is just it's more contagious with George Kittle as opposed to Kelce. These two guys, I think Kittle's had every commentator will argue that Kittle's the best both for blocking and catching. He had a 1,000-yard season as he did last season. I'm not 100% sure for Kelce, but I can only assume same thing or close to it. And one of the most interesting things to think about this playoff season is the two teams that Jimmy Garoppolo, I hope, will both play, will both be teams his first career losses. When he played the Vikings, it was his first career loss. Obviously not a good way to start the season. And his final game of the 2018 season, where he took on the Chiefs, he tore his ACL. So it's kind of interesting how the two teams that defeated him, kind of overwhelmed him, are now the teams that are, at least the Vikings so far, are at his, they're playing at his will. Personally, if the two teams took each other on in the Super Bowl, I think the Niners could really get this done. It's a dream of mine. It's a weird feeling knowing that your favorite team, out of the 1 in 32 teams that could possibly be winning the big game, where millions and millions, tens of millions of people are watching it. Probably 100 million. I always forget the exact numbers, but that the team you love so much is really going to represent on a national stage and an international stage at the level the Super Bowl is played at these days. Obviously, the team, they always talk about the defense this season. This defense has been amazing. Nick Bosa, out of all the rookies I've seen go in the first round since I've really started following the draft, he's by far been the biggest impact player, no doubt there. George Kittle's obviously a big part, but as far as first round go, Nick Bosa has definitely been an impact. They got a huge defensive line. They got DeForest Buckner as the defensive tackle, and you got on the other side Eric Armstead. You got Sheldon Day. Just some big guys stopping you. I think it's great to have Quan Alexander back, and again another big personality for the defense. This team, they had 3 interceptions all last season, and this season alone, in the first game or one of the first games against the Buccaneers, they had 3 alone, with one of them being a pick six for Richard Sherman. It's just this team has got exactly what it takes to win this game. These might be kind of generic phrasings, obviously they have a good defense, but it's just true. When you watch them, if you're not a Niners fan, you've watched these games, it's come down to literally the last play, what seems like the entire season. Even if I wasn't a Niners fan, I would tune into these games. It's just it's great football to watch. It really is. Obviously, everyone would love to go to a Super Bowl. I know I would, but for anybody who would be able to get out there, obviously I would hope you have a great time. It's in a pretty non-biased area, nowhere too close to either of the teams. It's in Miami this year, which is pretty unique. It's a team that the Niners beat in the Super Bowl, so we'd see if they have some vengeful kind of fans, I guess, rooting against the team. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. Hopefully I'm gonna be making some more. Hopefully I got a chance to make a Vikings prediction.